All right, so it's Texas Hate Week, and you all know it. We got to discuss the game that's coming up and what Oklahoma can do. I think that the defense is going to be making a change this week in the defensive backfield. Brent Venables, listen, he might have revealed his strategy. I'm joined by Coop today from Unfair Sports and the Sooner or Later podcast. How are you doing today?
Doing good, and it's I'm going to start every single commentary like this: is Texas, you got no excuses, right? You're ranked number one. You're the best team in America, right? Oklahoma doesn't have an offense, so there's no reason you should lose, right? There's no reason at all. So this is a check mark. You guys are done. It's not a big deal. You guys are just going to move on through this. Just like you have the other jokes that you've played. So no excuses, right? Because there's statistically, there's no reason why Texas should lose this game. There's no reason it should be competitive, PG.
Exactly. And I was talking to a buddy who lives in Austin, and, I told him, he's like, so what's your excuse going to be if Oklahoma loses? And I said, y'all should beat us. They're like, statistically, and what I'm hearing, you should beat us. I said, if you lose, there better not be no excuses from your side. I don't want to hear Quinn Ewers went down, whatever. I don't want to hear it. I said, Texas should be, they're expected to beat Oklahoma. They're a 14.5-point favorite. They should win this game. If they do not, this is an indictment on the Texas football program and what they've been for the past 10 years. So, I mean, just diving into statistically about, Texas, offensively, Texas looks like a juggernaut, but they haven't played anybody, right? But still, you look at that wide receiver room and you look at Oklahoma's defensive backfield and you say, could there be a problem? And after what you saw last week against Auburn with, I would say, Peyton Thorne ain't on the level of Arch or Quinn Ewers, not even on the same playing field. Now, the wide receiver play from both teams might be pretty equivalent, but what you saw last week might have concerned you if you were an Oklahoma fan. And a lot of that's just because you saw two cornerbacks in Woody Washington and Kenai Walker. Quite frankly, Woody Washington's played like absolute garbage the entire year, and I'll say it that way. I'm sorry if he sees this and hears that. He's played like garbage. And then you saw Kenai Walker last week. He blew coverage several times. And you have to ask yourself, is there a change coming? Well, 4 days ago, Oklahoma had a practice, and Brent Venables made Eli Bowen available to the press. And a lot of people are now under the assumption if he's making a true freshman available to the press, he's probably getting the nod to start against Texas. And I was talking to a buddy on the way home today, and he said, well, Eli Bowen's what, 5'9"? And I said, he's 5'9", but have you seen the dude play ball? Dude's excellent in coverage. And so, Coop, I'm here to ask you, should Oklahoma make the change and put Eli Bowen in as a starter and replace either one Woody Washington or Kenai Walker?
There's been a couple times to where, Tennessee got the 66-yard touchdown, against, I believe that was Kenai at that point. Woody has, when it comes time to, dragging across the field, navigating through garbage, it's that, you always hear the strain isn't there. And, if I'm not mistaken, I mean, Eli Bowen is a guy who's still trying to prove himself. This is nothing new for Oklahoma to go in and see a young defensive back midway through the season come in and take, de facto starter and veteran's job. Just in the past, we never saw him continue to get good down the road and throughout the next couple of years. But Eli is this was, a lot of people might have thought that this was a toss-in offer to get Peyton Bowen. But Eli was a guy who Peyton's senior year, they were down there. They were wrecking shop together as brothers. Eli, I think, what did he set the school record for interceptions that year? So much to where in his senior year, nobody messed with him. Nobody went after him.
Nobody wanted to throw the ball his way.
Nobody dealt with it. And is your prototypical desired corner a 6'1" guy, pushing 190, 195, 100%. But for every one of those guys, you also have those just pit bull guys like Eli Bowen who just compete. And he is rated one of the highest, defensive backs in the snaps, in the country, and he's been doing really, really well. So this is a situation to where, you want to see Eli, come in and start getting sprinkled in, because if I'm Texas, what I'm doing is I am doing exactly what Auburn did, exactly what Tennessee did with Woody, and dragging him through some of the trash. And that's some of the offense that they like to run. They're going to want to create mismatches with their wide receivers, because they're going to throw out 3, 4, 5 guys out there that are going to be not only vertical threats, but threats to come across formation, to come across and give, an opportunity over the middle of the field. They also like to run. Texas is very, very, very pro running these deeper routes. So getting a little bit further behind the linebacker. So in typical, your curl routes, or your routes where the linebackers are supposed to provide, some added, coverage, so that the quarterback has to throw up and over them. Typically that's 10 to 15 yards. Well, they're going to do these 18 to 25 yard, routes too. So it's going to be tougher. And so you're going to have better coverage. And at this point, I don't know why you don't throw Eli. And we heard in fall practice, we heard in spring that he was balling out. He was playing a lot in the spring game. And so I'm for this move. I made it known. I thought that maybe this is a world where Oklahoma got to a point where Woody Washington maybe didn't have a place to play on the, on the team, before the season even started. I said that, and a lot of people kind of pulled back. Was like, well, hold on a second. Woody saved our butts in many, many, many years. Well, he has, he is who he is. And so, maybe this is a good move to pull the trigger here and get him excited for this matchup. But the question is this environment too big for him? I know that he's probably seen it multiple times.
Yeah, and you would imagine this is a dream scenario for Eli Bowen to play in this game, because I believe, if I remember correctly, his recruitment came down to OU and Texas, just like it did for Malik Hawkins, which, I mean, Malik Hawkins is in the same situation Eli Bowen is. A lot of people are writing him off because his brother's on the team. They think he's just a take because of that. No, like Eli Bowen and Malik Hawkins are great corners. And when Malik Hawkins gets here next year, he's probably going to be in the same position as Eli Bowen. He's going to be taking someone's job. But Eli Bowen, I was talking to you about this before we started recording. I feel like you have to replace Woody. And the reason why is Woody Washington's only 5'11", while Eli Bowen's 5'9". You're not losing too much size there. You replace Kenai Walker, you're replacing a 6'2" dude, and you're still leaving somebody in Woody Washington who, he's a veteran senior and he's played in this game before, but he's not giving you what you need. And against Texas, where I went through and I looked at it, and I did not realize this till I looked at it today. Did you know Texas has 17 receiving touchdowns this year? Not only that, Isaiah Bond and Ryan Wingo are absolute dudes for them in the wide receiver game.
Yeah, and here's what it is you want to cloud this up, because you want Quinn Ewers to think twice about putting a ball in a spot. And if he's got a clean look over the middle and there's nobody really in coverage, it's going to give him that confidence to make that. Whereas if you have somebody who is in the hip pocket, that's going to make them, this is what we saw last year with Gentry is, sure, if we had Gentry available, that's somebody you want to play, PG. But last year, Koenig sinks back on the first interception, sinks back, Ewers double clutches, stops the route on the slant. There's no reason why Xavier Worthy should ever get beat to the ball on a slant pass. But with that double clutch, you just put that hesitation. And with routes like that and routes over the middle, slight hesitations are the difference between long touchdowns and turnovers.
Yeah. I think we're pretty much under the same assumption. Eli Bowen's going to get the start. It's just, who does he get the start over? If you're Brent Venables in this defense, are you dropping 6 or 7 defensive backs this year against Quinn Ewers or even Arch Manning, knowing that your defensive line, you can run a 3-man front and probably have just as much of success as you've had with the 4 or 5-man front?
We ran a lot of 3-2-6 against Tennessee. ran a lot of that. And I think that you're going to probably start out with that route. They're going to, we were doing really, really well, with a safety leaking up and being extra run support, your 3 defensive linemen and your 2 linebackers. So you essentially show 6 in the box. And I think that with what Quinn's going to have a little rust. So how does that play out early in the game? Does he come out and does he just let it rip? Or do they try to get the side to side passing game and the running game going a little bit early to get Quinn in a rhythm? Most of those rhythm throws are throwing out wide and throwing some of the tunnel screens, throwing some of those extended run plays for the wide receivers. And those haven't worked very, very well against Oklahoma at this point in the year. So if I'm Texas and I see Eli Bowen out there, I'm going to say, all right, we know that you can cover. Can you tackle? And that's going to be something that's going to be a chess match going on all day long between Brent and Sarkisian.
Yeah, and for anybody that's wondering, can Eli Bowen tackle? When you look at his grading on PFF for tackling, he's consistently at a 76.6. So one of the best tacklers.
Green means go.
One of the best tacklers for Oklahoma. And quite frankly, you need this. You lost Kendall Dolby earlier in the season. Like, you need Eli Bowen to step up. And if he ends up playing really well for you in this game, I think you feel even more confident about Oklahoma's defense going forward, especially against some of these other teams you're going to have to play. Missouri, Alabama, like even Ole Miss, really good wide receivers on all those teams. Like, you're going to have to find an answer in this game to pretty much play for the rest of the season. So going to be interesting to see what Brent Venables does there. But Coop, I know y'all are going to have a ton of content coming out this week around OU Texas. So tell everybody where they can find your guys' content.
Yeah, check us out, Unfair Sports. If you go to Unfair Sports, you just hit the little search bar in your YouTubes, in your Google search, whatever you want to do. You can find us. Also, we have Sooner or Later podcast. I'm trying to see if we can get another little parent interview set up here for the Texas week. But man, it's there's going to be a lot of this going down. I think the SEC Connect is going to be going down too. So tune in because we're going to, like I said. There's no reason, right? There's no reason. 85%, 14-point line. There's no reason why Texas, every ounce of the pressure is on Texas. Every single bit of it is on Texas. And that makes me happy, PG, because Texas and expectations don't usually work well together. So there's no reason. And so you can hop down in the comments if you want to let us know. Anybody who's throwing out, numbers like 55 and stuff like that, come on now. Like, OU hasn't given up 35, much less 55 at this point. And now the offense is starting to find a little something together. So we had lots of fun. This is why we have this game. This is what makes this game great. I'll be down there too. So be looking out for your boy. Hit me up in the DMs in the Twitter and let me know where you're going to be at. I'm going to be roaming around with some of the players' parents and a couple of our friends.
All right. Well, I appreciate you coming on, Coop. If you guys haven't already, make sure you guys hit that like and hit that subscribe button.